You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kirsten.
Whoa. Hey. Whoa.
The Big Show.
It's the Big Show, my friend. Here's where
Some say
that karma is a bitch. And it is.
Some say that karma is a bitch.
Karma is a bitch.
To the Big Show.
But here's the question. Can karma come to get you for bad thoughts?
Okay, so last week
Here's my friend who stayed in a haunted hotel, and that's sort of appropriate for tonight's show. Because one of my fellow ghost hunters, Michaela, may be calling in just a short while. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about Old House Stories. You're listening to The Big Show. It's Truth on Tap. Your host, Kevin Kirsten. Why not talk about what people are really thinking under the surface? Why not mix that in with some haunted wood stuff? I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to see the big picture. Tell me if you're with me on this. The radio is moving over to the internet. We know that. People are deciding that they like the random nature of things. That they like not always having a show at 4 p.m. that always has to do with traffic. They want random. I'm starting to see it now. I don't know why it's happening, but it is happening. Well, shit. That fits me like a glove, brother. I mean, I was born random. So that's what I'm going to do. You know, I'll be unpredictable. Fine. That's what they want. That's what they get. I give my people what they want. That's how that works. Always. No exceptions there. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about what people are thinking under the surface, of course, and how that's usually not what they're saying. You know what I mean? You've had the thoughts. Come on. You've had them. You're in a crowd of people, even if it's only 3 or 4, and you're looking at somebody and thinking, you know, if I had a way to do it, I'd probably just off you right now. You've had them. Now, I'll be honest with you. I've never had a kill thought. Yeah, I've never had a thought about actually killing someone, yet I know people who have actually in their heads planned out a murder, and of course not carried it through. That's a bit extreme in my view. That means you need to see a psychiatrist at that point. When you're actually considering committing a felony because of thoughts, that's it's different if you're saying, gosh, I'm seriously thinking about robbing a bank because my family needs. Well, at least you're thinking logically there about survival. But when you're thinking about killing somebody over something like anger or hatred or jealousy, you're very unwell there. And whereas the bank robber could be mentally well, could be mentally stable, just desperate. You know the difference. I know the difference. What are people thinking just under the surface, do you think? That's what we're going to talk a little bit about tonight. I'm going to tell you a few things that have been reported by people in various psychiatry and psychology forums, that these thoughts that they have, how terrified they are that they get these thoughts. I'm not going to tell you all the ones that I've had or all the ones I have. But I will say that I'll get thoughts that pop into my head that are bizarre. Now, somebody once wrote, and I only read this a couple weeks ago, that consider those thoughts to be suggestions from the dark side. And I thought, well, that's kind of a neat idea. Instead of believing that you've got a part of your mind that's bad, consider it suggestions to the good you, which is the whole you, from outside, from a dark force. And you simply put your hand up and say, no, thank you. That kind of makes it easy to deal with, even if it's not fair to be accurate. I don't tell you things that help you fool yourself. Yet, if I can't be sure you have a dark side, I think we all have the capacity to kill in certain situations, why don't I tell you that? Go ahead and treat it as a suggestion submitted by the dark side, one in which you will reject. You must reject all suggestions from the dark side. Do it. You know, and I've had some pretty odd freaking suggestions from the dark side, and I've never been truly tempted to act on one, but some of them, when I first got the thought, didn't seem so bad. And that scares me a little. It took further thought, further cognitive process in order for me to realize that's not a healthy thought. Where did it come from? Why did you have it? And how are you going to avoid getting it again? Well, I tend to let my mind run free, very free, extremely free. I have to. It's my personality. I actually go out of my way to do that. I make sure that I don't clamp down on knowledge. I look at knowledge like you would look at water flowing under a microscope, and I get a working truth, and that's it. That's all I want, because it's always changing. I don't want to close the subject on any topic, from faith right on down to the best way shoelaces can be tied. I want it always to remain open. I have a working belief system that is always subject to change. You think that's flip-flopping? I can't help you there. I ain't trying to flip-flop, but if that's what you see it as, fine. I'm a flip-flopper. What I really am is someone who knows how to adapt. That's what I am. And someone who is allowing themselves to actually speak the truth, and be more accurately involved in the intelligence and academia worlds, because they're willing to accept new facts. I mean, you've seen it, haven't you? Older generations, they're coming around, they're saying, you kids are nothing like us, you got it all wrong. You're supposed to go out and work a 75-hour work week, come home, cook dinner, go to bed, do it all again. You know, we have today's generation saying, that's really not what life is about, probably, at least in America. You go to places like Japan, China, and they're working their fingers to the bone. I wrote a book called Name a Vault about an alien living on Earth, and I'm not going to put a sales pitch out for it, but in one part, he talks about how much humans work, and he says humans are the only species we've seen of the 7 galaxies we've studied that devote so much time to labor and use a non-barter system. And the reason I wrote that is because that thought entered my head. I don't think it's natural to work quite so much. I think it became a competition, and because we're still hung up on competition, we've ridden it out to the max. It's killing people now. In Japan, people are falling over dead on the subways. You can look it up. Go ahead. I would encourage you to. Yep. Get to their desk at work, been working 80, 90-hour week. Ka-tunk, dead. Wheel them out. Bring another. Because they have to work harder than the guy beside them. You know, especially supervisors over there. Extremely hard-working people, Asians. And, you know, as you move west, closer to Europe, you get around that India area, you're still getting some very hard-working people. And, you know, you've got PhDs over there working in call centers for $4 an hour. Bless them. How about that? That's amazing to me. And then you get a little further west, and we still have hard workers, but we have people that are insisting on getting into mental capacity requirement type jobs. They are not suited on a large scale to just manual labor. They gotta engage somehow. This is your typical white Europeans, but also other races that have just learned from the typical white Europeans. In Africa, you have a little mix of both. You've got those that like to stick to just academia, and those that are strictly hunting food out in the jungle. Not a lot of mix in the middle there, because of how sparse the villages are from each other. I think you kind of get one lifestyle in this one and one lifestyle in that one, and then over here near the university, everybody's doing the thinking and doing the academia. That's my view. So what about what people are thinking right under the surface? Have you ever thought a thought that you were really ashamed of? I'll bet you have. I'd be willing to bet you have. You know, what was it? I wish you could tell me. I wish you could tell me what it was, because that's something we need to get out in the open, isn't it? You can come in and chat with me and tell me just in text by pulling me up on Google Talk, and you can use your multi-platform chat device for that, whether it's Trillian or whatever. On Google Talk, that's my service, I am Mr. Kiersted, K-I-E-R, Stead, as in steady. Hit me up on there and tell me the terrible thoughts you've had. And you will remain anonymous if you choose to. We got to get it out there because it's going to give people a view of life that is closer to actuality. And that's the central part of what I do on this show. It needs to be done. It really needs to be done. So we look for lies. We try to get rid of popular myths. But it's so much more than that. It's telling you what's really going on without taking the path of the typical paranoid conspiracy theorist, which those people are very damaging to society. If you don't believe me, check out this month's edition of Scientific American Mind and see how much damage conspiracy theorists are doing. And these are right down to governors and Congress people. It's got to stop. It's going to be the end of us. If you've got a conspiracy theory, please go find your own data. Make sure they are good data, and I mean solid. And if you can't find it, drop the theory, please, because you're misleading other people when you tell them about it, and they're not looking at the important issue anymore. If you believe global warming's not happening, you're letting it go. You're not reducing your carbon footprint. And regardless of whether or not man's causing it or there's a huge crack in the earth, carbon is shooting out like it never has before. It's several times higher than it's ever been in the history of the earth. And we know what comes when the temperature goes up a few degrees. We know what comes. It gets ugly. If you haven't studied global warming, please go look it up. Just have a look at it and understand it is happening. Regardless of whether or not it's man's fault, we have to counterbalance it. It's a big deal. If you don't want your children under a mile of ice or a mile of water, think about it. Just think about it. For whatever the cause is. I don't care. If it was our fault, all right, well, sorry. We humans are sorry. Let's fix it. If it's the Earth's fault, well, let's see if we can do something about getting that hole closed or wherever they are. Is it some sort of biological process going on in swamps? Let's get that taken care of. We can do that. But whatever we do, we got to restore the balance. We got to get the carbon levels down, arrest them. Now, right now, what everyone's looking for in the world, the people that study this, the scientists are saying, we've got this level that we must not reach or exceed, or things could get very dangerous. Now we're approaching that level, and we're approaching it rapidly. And from the rate that the carbon levels are growing, scientists are saying now, within 20 years, maybe within 10 years, we are going to exceed that level. Okay, that's going to accelerate the ice melting and going into the oceans and decreasing the salinity and stopping the currents, and all hell breaks loose like a mofo then. If half of the ice shelf were to break off in Antarctica, and it's already loose and porous because of the rise in temperature, bam, cities on the water like New York City are 20 feet underwater instantly. As soon as the tide has time to reach, and that's worldwide sea level. You don't want that. I don't want that where I live. I mean, where I am right now, we're about 21 feet above a mean high tide. That's lucky, but it's not enough, obviously. Now, where my folks are, they're about 3 feet above a low tide, if you ask me. And most of the people in this county where I live are at the water level. It's no good. It's scary, The last book I wrote, Addie's Boom and the Blast Frontier, happens to be centered in this town, and they just so happen to have dealt with a tidal wave. And I'm going to leave the rest to your imagination, because why would I want to ruin the book for you? You can look that up. Just Google my name, you'll see it. It's Addie's Boom and the Blast Frontier. Just Google Kevin Kiersted. K-I-E-R, stead as in steady. It's my best book so far. It's got the best reviews, but the one that sold the most is The Lost Dialogues of Table 18. It's a small tabletop book about conversations between me and a, quote, pirate, unquote. And I'll leave that one completely to your imagination. I've pulled up a few websites here so we can discuss this in some detail. And I may play around tonight. One of the things I'm trying to do is get somebody to call in because I really need to tweak my phone settings. You know, I've got this SAM broadcaster unit working. I've got to get it where people can call in and be heard with the same quality I'm being heard, at least to the limit of their phone, and not put them on speakerphone and have that terrible tinny sound. Yeah, hold on. What's up? Call. Yeah, I'm speaking to a couple friends now that are supposed to call in. And, let's see here. So hopefully that'll work. But we're gonna, like I say, I've got some sites up. Got a few sites up. For some reason, this is another thing I got to work on. The first call never comes through. It picks up with the second call. Go figure, right? Oh, what are you gonna do? I've got a few sites up, like I said, that deal with private thoughts people have. Thoughts that they would be too embarrassed to tell friends and family about, or their boyfriend or girlfriend, or their children. It's my belief that kids probably have them too. I can't remember as a kid the nature of all my thoughts. I just remember riding my bike a lot. I've forgotten entire years of my childhood, and I have my own theories as to why. There was no abuse, just so you're not thinking along those lines. But I have my beliefs about why. So I don't know. Okay, here comes a call. Let's see. Now, hopefully we'll be talking to her in just a second. Is Michaela on the line?
Yes, hello.
There she is. And you know what? If my radio program's working properly, you're going to sound really good now.
Sweet.
What the hell is going on in Old House Woods?
Creepy stuff. Creepy shit.
Tell me about some creepy. Kim's on too?
I am, so.
All right. Let me give my listeners a little bit of update here. We have, can I say y'all's last names?
Yes, you may. Yep.
Okay. So we have Miss Michaela Wotak talking about Wotak. I just made that up. And you have Miss Kim Ashbury Moxley. These are two girls that I like to go ghost hunting with out in Old House Woods. They're out there now, but I'm an old crippled man. The VA just about broke my fucking spine last night or yesterday, so I can't do it. But I will be able to again soon. They're seeing some freaky stuff. Tell us live right now what kind of scary shit is going on in Old House Woods.
All right. We were parking on a undisclosed lane.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had some, what looks to be like humanoid figures hunched over, running behind the van.
Ooh.
From Factor Woods to the Reeds.
Uh-huh.
Hold on, Sharon K just shut up. You want to pop that up?
Oh, cool.
And then just some really weird, dark, bad feeling.
Mm. Well, you guys get vibes way more than I do, so I certainly trust your vibes. What else are you seeing out there tonight?
In general, weird sparkles.
Mm-hmm.
Like flints.
Okay. What do you
and
think?
That's about it.
See, I've seen that before out there. I've seen like I said, it looked like a lighter trying to light, and the sparks fly. Do you think that may be some form of energy, or do you think it may be a repetition of gunfire from some old battle?
I question whether or not it could be flint. I mean, if from a battle, hunting, something of that nature.
Make sure they know. Make sure they know they're on the radio.
Yeah. Hey, Sharon K, we're on the radio live.
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay. Well, all right, tell me what you got planned for the rest of the night and what you're going to investigate and what areas you're going to investigate.
I think we're probably going to go back down to the well.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to leave that a mystery because for obvious reasons.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, because you don't want nobody drinking that water, that's true.
That's right. That's right. Old House Woods, Matthews, Virginia, for those of you that didn't know, go to your library or go on the internet, see if you can find the Ghosts of Tidewater. Get in there, take a look at some of the stories about Virginia. You're going to find a place called Old House Woods, all kinds of scary reports of pirate ships and witches flying around and headless cattle and headless dogs that attack you and Revolutionary War soldiers and these skeletons in armor. What else, Ken? What am I missing?
Let's see. Did you mention headless cattle?
Yeah.
Skeleton soldiers,
Witch,
dog, casket.
And they believe
Great.
there's treasure buried back there and that it's being guarded by pirate spirits of some sort, right?
Yeah, that's what they believe. I don't know if it's being guarded by pirate spirits or not. I'm not even sure if it's a bona fide treasure, but it's something.
Yeah. See, I'll tell you what Kim and I have seen back out there so far. This is over the past year, the course of the past year. I had been ghost hunting since 1999, and I had never seen a full entity until I went to Old House Woods. Now, I had been there before when I was in high school out here, but hadn't seen anything. I thought I saw something once, but I wasn't sure. But when I came back, we saw first sighting was the Storm Lady, a well-known apparition that appears during a gale, supposedly, to warn people of the incoming gale. And so they call her the Storm Lady. Maybe she lost a husband or brother or father in a storm at sea. Right here on the beach is where Old House Woods is, right on the Chesapeake Bay. Then the second thing we saw was it looked like two animals or two, if you can imagine two broomsticks with black ponchos hung over them with hoods, flying sideways like your traditional cartoon type ghosts. We saw those cross a road, both go up two separate trees, jump toward each other, and then poof, go away in a cloud. And I know you're thinking, bullshit. Well, bullshit not, because that's what we saw. That's exactly what we saw. And we described it to each other. And then the third one I saw looked like, if you've ever seen the movie The Predator, it was like that. It was a lady. I was with Rob that time, and she barely disturbed the area behind her, yet she had a perfect outline. And Rob's vision isn't that good, so the way he saw it was the outline of her was a little darker. But he saw her shape and her moving. She moved very slow from the side of a house to the woods. So I've seen 3 entities in, 1,000 hours of hunting?
Yeah, Kevin,
Mm-hmm.
we're seeing that right now.
Yeah.
What are you seeing right now? Explain it.
Actually, we're seeing 1 or 2
Okay.
moving from that side window to the end. It's like they're coming up to the window.
You're hearing it here, folks. Live ghost sightings from Old House Woods in Matthews, Virginia. Is this down there by the abandoned house you're talking about?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. Right where that night that you, Rob, and I were down here, and y'all saw that, for lack of better words, what you just described.
Yeah.
The
Now, what do you see? Does it look like humans, or could it possibly be animals?
no, this ain't no animal. That's where moonlight's coming in and hitting the leaves on the bottom of that tree.
Yeah, I was wondering that earlier.
Yeah, but the moonlight down here has got everything lit up like the 4th of July.
Yeah.
So if anything is questionable, the dark stuff isn't really, but
Right.
there's a lot of stuff playing tricks on it. Did you see it go again?
Yeah.
There it went again. God darn it.
Wow.
You know, the moon will come through the branches and light up lower branches on trees, and it makes it look like there's a glowing something towards the ground.
Is there something there?
See the bottom window of the street.
Over here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one are you looking at? The one on the lower right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Sharon is saying she's seeing something by the lower left.
Right.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm just now seeing something at that bottom window, the one that catches with the report.
But yeah, on the way down here, I got a funny feeling
Mm-hmm.
as we came up on the first sump hole on the right.
Yeah.
You see it?
I just saw something next to the house, and it looked like it went up like that.
It
How
just
do
went
you-
up. Yeah.
Tell me your vibes, everybody. Everybody's separate vibes. Like, Tabby's there too, right?
got it on that.
All right, yeah. Mia,
What's-
what are you feeling?
What's everybody's individual vibes?
I don't know.
Are you spooked?
No, I'm not spooked. I feel tingles.
Okay.
Usually when I feel that stuff is around, I just get tingly, really, all through my body.
Well,
Yep,
if you're getting
yeah.
tingles, that's usually because you're talking to me. I have that effect on most women, but no.
Oh, have mercy. Just think
He
about
did
it, dude, when
not.
you get that king and start rocking it.
I just saw something.
But no, Michaela does get tingles, and when she thinks there's something around. And what about like a bad feeling, like as if you're either being watched by something, like an audience of spirits, or you're being told to leave? Anything like that?
I got that earlier when we went to the well, and we were sitting there, and as soon as we pulled up, I rolled up my window, and I told Kim that I had a bad feeling that something was watching us from the reeds and from in front of us, and I thought I saw something black standing in the reeds next to me with, like, a black gown on, and it looked like it had, like, a black hood on, like, over its head.
Right.
And then we saw something go behind the van that was black. It looked like it was hunched over.
Wow.
That was twice that we saw something hunched over.
Yeah, we saw it
across the road
twice.
behind us.
That is wild. What kind of vibes is Sharon getting back there?
What are you getting, Sharon?
Feeling like I'm being watched.
She feels like she's being watched.
Don't have the heebie-jeebies yet.
No heebie-jeebies yet.
Okay. So what they may have, let's just go off vibes and not sightings. The vibes to me sound like there's a presence. They're certain of the presence, but the presence isn't necessarily malevolent yet. But it could turn that way.
Yeah.
We've seen that happen. You know.
Yeah.
So
Oh, we thought that's what was going to happen the night we saw the ghost lady down on the beach.
yeah, that's what I expected.
She never did. She just stood there.
Yeah, she actually stood there. For people that don't know this, the night we saw the storm lady, when you see a ghost, you normally see a ghost for 3 or 5 seconds, or sometimes just a flash of an instant. She was there for 30 minutes complete, I would say 15 minutes, and then she went away and it started raining, so we went to the car, came back out, she came back for another 15 or 20 minutes, and then finally faded away for good. But I got this feeling as if she was like a painting there. I felt like there was no interaction, like she may not have even been truly aware that we were there. Just like she kind of showed up like a painting, you know? That's the feeling I got. I think Kim felt more like she was watching us. But I don't know.
I felt like she was watching us, but
Mm-hmm.
there was nothing that was going to happen. She just standing there.
We got so used to her being there that we started talking about other stuff and almost forgot about her. We did. We were talking about time travel and stuff. And I remembered her, and I said, Storm Lady, you know, you're kind of creeping us out there just standing. Come introduce yourself or something. And it was creepy because she wasn't doing anything. So I'm just thinking, but really, she was there so long we forgot, and we're talking about other stuff. I got it's on YouTube on an audio file.
I'll get the key to be rolling.
All right. We're going to roll down to... Hold on.
We're going to roll down to the well.
You want
Okay.
to park at the beach?
Well, listen, if y'all get some good stuff and you're getting it like live, call me back and we'll go live on the radio.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I'll be on for like another hour.
Okay.
All right?
Call you back.
Have a good
All right.
time.
Okay.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You heard it here, my friends, first. That was some live ghost sightings down in Old House Woods, Matthews County, Virginia. Impressive stuff. I mean, this is the kind of stuff we see down there. I like to catch it live when I'm not able to be down there. I wish we had some type of infrared or game cameras down there so we could monitor it sometimes when we're not down there. Just at least, you know, the spots that are hot spots. Because people that own the property down there actually have some game cameras up, but they're looking for game. So I think, unless that's a cover story, it sounds something like a conspiracy theorist would say, but maybe they're looking for games and ghosts, or game and ghosts. They're going down to a spot now where lots of activity has been reported from in the past. It's not a spot we go to often. Let me just set the scene for you since you just heard that. When you go to Old House Woods in Matthews, Virginia, you're going toward the public beach. The big public beach is called Haven Beach, and nothing is big around here. The town is less than 10,000 people. You get to a fork in the road, and you either have to keep going straight on Old House Woods Road, or if you want to go to the beach, you have to take a right on Haven Beach Road. And these roads are roughly equal length, the one off to the right and the one straight ahead. I think the one off to the right's a bit longer that goes down to the beach, but not much. So it's kind of like a big Y shape there. Where we usually go is off to the right, about halfway down toward the beach, down this wooded road, is an abandoned house. And it's not because, see, that's not the old house of Old House Woods. The old house is gone. And we believe the old house that it was named after is on Old House Woods Road. When you go down that one, there's an empty field on the left that people say the old house used to sit on. But here's the thing. The old house is not what makes that place haunted. It just is what the place is named after. So that's not even a big deal in my view. Everybody wants to talk about the old house. Well, I don't care much about the old house. I care about what's in that area, all the reports of craziness. And down there on Old House Woods Road, you have something on the right. Like I said, the field's on the left where the old house used to sit. Directly across from that is basically a bog. There are two big bogs that are like ponds in marshland. And they lead right out to the Chesapeake Bay. So they're kind of circular with openings, sort of. You know, it's kind of it's not perfect. And they've built little walk-in paths through there and stuff. We don't go on those. That's private. But supposedly that's where they see the pirate ship, the ghost pirate ship, come in. And the ghost pirate ship is so, if you read the book, you'll see it is so involved because you actually hear the clank, clank, clanking of people digging for treasure. You see them dropping their ladders to get off the boat, to get down. But what they say is that the boat tends to be at treetop level. And the sea level, at least in their times, was nothing like that. So we don't really understand that, but that's what gets reported. And I have all kinds of theories that maybe space, as we know it, does not apply to them. I also believe that it's possible that we're not dealing with anything intelligent. We could be dealing with just a replay, because I believe time is a huge, huge deal and so underappreciated. The factor of time and the fact that time can be manipulated is probably the most underappreciated truth in science. What if a black hole is drifting within 50 light years of our planet, and out of it is coming the gravity waves? Push, pull, and some of those waves hit so hard in a couple of areas of Earth, they affect time. They literally, like two sheets hanging on a clothesline, bump into each other 2 separate times. Boom. All of a sudden you're seeing, for the moment of that bump, what's happened in 1843. You might even hit 1843 and then skip back to 1430. See some Native American Indians doing their thing. Maybe it's that simple, because so far I have yet to have an intelligent ghost encounter. Everything seems to be doing its own thing, It's really strange to me. But we look and we find. You see a lot of movies about ghosts telling them to do this and leaving messages to do that. I've never seen any evidence that there's really an intelligent interaction going on. Yet I've seen no evidence that cannot be a truth. So I certainly wouldn't say that doesn't happen. That's what scientists want to do. And we'll get back to what people really think below the surface. I'll have to change the description of this. But for those of you listening right now, I just want you to know my show will have a main topic, and then I will be free to go on other topics, which is what I'm doing right now. And that's what I do. There will be a main topic, and there will always be a focus on truth and accuracy, because I'm a huge communications guy. I think communications is one of humans' worst weaknesses. So accuracy in communications and accuracy in news and information can be a make it or break it difference. And I find that very important, and once again, something that is overlooked. So yeah, I focus on that. It's important to me because it's not important to enough other people. So I'm trying to get you the real story, the true story. Trying to do it without a slant. I can't guarantee that, but I am trying to get you the facts. Everybody's got a slant of some kind. Politically, I find myself in the center line. I have a slight leftward tilt, but it is not a leftist view. I took a political quiz one time, and you could, go north for libertarian, south for Green Party or whatever, and then or state party, and then right to the right, left to the left, right being conservative, left being liberal. And I swear to God, it was this big graph, and I hit the dead frickin' center. So that's kind of where I am now. I'm not telling you that this poll or this quiz was an accurate quiz, but it seemed pretty accurate to me when I weighed in my head the level of the questions and what they were asking. In other words, when I finished it, I felt like I was in the middle before I even see the result. And I was dead center after, 15 or 20 questions. And that's about where I am. People say that's undecisive. People say that's uncommitted. Fuck people. It's what I believe. I'm in the center. I believe in certain conservative policies. I believe in certain liberal policies. I believe in a lot of stuff that's right in the middle. Everything in moderation, few things I'll argue. People on welfare, none of them live like, don't say welfare queen. There's no welfare queen. There isn't a person on welfare that wants to be on welfare. They want to be out of poverty. That's what they want. Now, the fact that they can't work, and some of them are scamming the system because they can't work. But when you're on welfare in every state I know of, you have to be enrolled, 1, in the state's employment agency. 2, they will send you job referrals, and you have to go to those interviews, 2. 3, to get unemployment, you have to go look for work every single week if you're able to work. And you have to prove that you've done that by giving contact information, which that agency, the employment agency, will then verify. All right, we got a call again. Let's find out what's up. That's Michaela. Michaela, you're on the radio. Is this Michaela or Kim? Hello.
Michaela.
What's up, girl? What are you seeing?
We're seeing woods and darkness.
Oh. Is it not scary? Is it not scary?
There's so much light out here right now. You can see a pimple on someone's ass.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it's that bright.
I drove down with no.
Yeah, we drove down with no lights.
Oh my gosh. Well, that makes it hard. I tell people when we go ghost hunting, I want ideally no moon and no wind. Because both of those can play tricks on you.
Yeah.
That is great.
That's why I got to test the heebie-jeebies.
We could I look at the moon in 2 ways. Generally, I say it's bad because it can play tricks on you with lighting. But also, if there's something out there that's non-luminous, maybe it could be just an apparition that has the brightness of a cotton t-shirt, then the moon might help, But it's so hard to tell what you're going to see. So are you down there at that area we talked about?
Yep.
Okay, do you guys know of something that may have happened down there that we wouldn't see typically up in the other 2 areas we like to go? Like what happened down in the bowels of Old House Woods?
What? Sharon, speak up.
Hanging.
A hanging?
Hanging.
Yeah. They don't. Some people claim he was murdered. Some people claim he hung himself because of all the spirits that he was seeing down here.
Now, did that man live in the old house over there by Old Cow Hole?
He lived in the wooden house that was torn down. So I would say it was more likely probably the original old house.
Okay, now this was a white guy? This wasn't a slave?
Yeah, he was white.
Okay. So...
And I believe he was the father of the girl. I'm not too sure on that theory yet.
The father of which girl?
The little girl that was being carried out to the doctors in the wagon at night.
Oh, okay.
And the pirate dogs attacked the horses.
Yeah. this hanging now, do they think, were you told, Sharon has a long history with this place, and her family does, so she knows more about it probably than any of us. Would you say that is the hanging suspect? Do people think it could have been murder, or did they know it was suicide and just question the reason?
I couldn't say. All I know is that the old grandfathers and people talked and said that he was murdered. Since I've been ghost hunting and checking into that, a lot of people have said that he was seeing the spirits and went crazy, couldn't take it no more and hung himself. And they were also mentioned if it might not be tied into the fact of the little girl possibly dying.
Like with depression.
Yeah, like either those ghosts was just driving him crazy and he couldn't take it no more, or like you said, with him with depression and all building up on it. But the old timers used to talk about a murder down here, that he was hung.
Well,
and see, that's odd, because when Steve came down here with us, the first couple of times he came with us, he had mentioned to me that it felt like a hanging down here. And he has never heard of any of the stories or nothing.
That's right. I think I remember y'all talking about that last year.
Yeah.
Well, the old timers wouldn't. My daughter's great grandfather would not let his children play down in here because he had seen the pirate ghost himself. And because of the rumor of like the murder hanging or whatever that's being hidden down here, I think the old timers were aware of it, and he would not let his children play down in here.
That's another curious thing about Old House Woods in general. People are reporting, more than one person, now obviously you know this, people are reporting a skeleton in armor. Now think about all the sightings you've heard of around the world. 96% of them, they're just people, right? Sometimes their skin is decaying, but it's always got skin. What the hell would make you see a skeleton? Just the bones. And it lends some credibility to the stories because it's so unlikely. And a psychologist might say, well, once one person said it, it gave birth to the concept, and then other people reported it because that's what they saw, power of suggestion. In the same way they said, who were the two people, the black and white couple that got abducted first by aliens, supposedly? I can't remember their names, but everybody says, well, they reported the first, quote, gray, unquote, aliens. So after that, everybody's abduction story had those aliens because it was a kind of a mass adoption of the body type. So that's what some people would say, but I'm not buying that. I think the reporter from Boston or Baltimore, wherever he's from, I think he was right. I think he was accurate. What I don't get is why a ghost would be just bones in an outfit. It doesn't make sense to me. It's almost like he must have died in a way that would have removed his flesh.
Unless he wasn't a ghost.
Good point. What do you think he might have been?
Well, common folklore will tell you, has repeating stories of skeletal soldiers are actually demon warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Their armor and their skeletons in armor.
Okay.
That's another theory.
Yeah.
Another thing, I guess, I don't know. What was it out to scare? Were they out to scare somebody? If so, then a skeleton would be a good way to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah,
were they aware of what they looked like?
But the armor, that's a typical description.
Well, see, when the guy reported in the book and he was on the carriage, he reported they were closing in on this skeleton in armor. Here's what I don't get. Think of a skeleton and the way it looks, right? You can see all its teeth, right?
Right.
Okay, well, he said it looked at him and gave him a menacing smile. So, unless the bones actually bent up in the shape of a smile, then he wouldn't have seen a smile if there was no flesh on it. These are some of the more scientific questions I have to ask about people's reports to see if they're legitimate. I believe the guy was legitimate, but it just sounds funny.
All right. Let's stop and think. What does a skull look like? It looks like the mouth is turned in an upright grin.
Yeah, it always looks like it's smiling.
Right, always.
But he said it gave him a menacing smile, so he must have meant it just looked like that it didn't form into it.
Right. For lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe even open up his mouth a little bit.
And it looked at him,
Yeah.
It looked at him. He caught notice at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But
Very detail of him.
the picture of what I caught in the woods,
Mm-hmm.
there's no menacing grin on that. That actually looks like he's got some sort of armor on.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
Kim got a picture back in the woods, and it looked like, for the lack of a better term, I would just call it a Spanish soldier, because I can't recognize the armor type from any of the medieval periods or even colonial periods. What it had was a chin guard that came up under the neck, up over the chin, and stopped just below the lips. And there it stopped, and there was no, and then I think the helmet continued above the hairline, but there was nothing covering the face. And you could see medals, and you can see stripes on this soldier's outfit. This is a real picture, and I saw it the night she took it, right after she took it. So that's legitimate stuff. I got a picture down there by that tree, by the abandoned house. It's the strangest picture I've ever captured, and this is on the Old House Woods page on Facebook if y'all want to go find it. It's a huge fog triangle. Makes no sense.
Yep. Right in front of the house.
Yeah.
Where y'all saw that. We saw that in the...
Yeah. Y'all can talk freely. You don't have to worry about it just because it's on the radio.
I just saw something white shoot across the road in front of us.
And a few minutes ago, I seen
But it was glowing.
Was it in the lane there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you see it?
I saw something exiting. Did it go this way?
Yeah.
Okay, then I saw something exiting into the woods.
I've gotten a picture of a skeleton, too, a long time ago before I even met all y'all.
Mm-hmm.
When I was with my friend Chip, and we went to the cow hole area, and we were just snapping photos, and I was standing right there in front of, the open, well, it got really dark.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Well, just now it got really dark?
Yeah.
Oh, we got a cloud.
But, I got a picture, and it looked like a skeleton, just the face, but half of its, head of its skull had long hair, and the other half didn't have anything.
Yeah.
So it was just like a skull face with long hair on one side and nothing on the other.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you feel like a bad vibe back there now, or the same as you felt before?
I just got goosebumps.
Sharon just got goosebumps.
Uh-oh.
I'm feeling okay. How are you feeling, Kim?
I'm on point.
She's
Okay.
on point.
So let's set the stage for people. We've got a pretty bright moon out there. We've got no wind right now.
No wind at all. The
All right, what
moon's
kind of-
covered down to time.
All right, what kind of temperature, and do we have any fog?
What's the
It's
temperature?
about 65 degrees.
65
no fog.
degrees, no fog.
There's
Okay.
clouds, nothing discernible.
Okay.
I'm looking for the ghost ship, and I don't see no ghost ship.
Are you stuck in the ship?
But I heard, now, I was talking to some friends of mine online, and I heard that a lot of times when people have claimed to have seen galleons and stuff like that, ships, even in the story of, what is that famous pirate ship, the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah, that's right.
They claim that the atmospheric situation was an alligator sky. Now, that would make sense because it would look like billowed sail, the squared billowed sail.
Yeah.
You know what an alligator sky is?
I've never heard of an alligator sky. That's a new one on me.
All right, it's at nighttime where the clouds all take a shape that look kind of like little blocks,
Okay.
and they're spread out like they're stretched. They look like alligator scales.
Okay.
And matter of fact, we had one not long ago. I came down here thinking I would find, this would be an opportunity to see it. And no, I didn't detect there was nothing out here. Matter of fact, by the time I got down here, the clouds had blown out.
Yeah, I was with you.
Oh yeah, Michaela was with me that night.
Well,
So I don't know.
I think the holy grail of ghost hunting is probably motion video of a real live ghost interacting with someone. I mean, that's what we got to invest in. That we're going to invest in that soon, but we got to figure out what we want. Like, we can't afford a thermal imaging device, but we could afford something that does infrared. But is infrared enough? We got to ask ourselves, are we even looking in the right place for the right equipment to find ghosts and record them? There's got to be something out there that can easily detect them and make them show up. But we don't know what it is.
That's it.
That's right. We're all three of us are looking at, it looks like a figure standing on the side of the lane.
On the right side.
On the right side of the lane.
Oh, wow. Now,
before we saw it, I got a bad feeling. Did y'all hear me say that?
Yeah, Michaela said she got a bad feeling a minute ago. And, yeah, Sharon's got goosebumps.
Are you looking down the lane toward the road or toward the house back there?
Toward the house.
Okay. If for people that don't know, when they are looking back toward the house, they're actually looking out toward the Chesapeake Bay, and there's a little inlet there, and that's what's that called? Whites Creek Landing, public dock there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that if the house were removed, they'd probably see that in the background, just to try to give you a reference point if you happen to be looking at Google Maps. I've heard that people reported seeing ships out there too that weren't there, like big ghost ships that were actually on the water but then would disappear. The black guy, the fisherman, reported that in the book. He said it almost hit him, and then it disappeared. He was out in a boat. So.
Sharon just said, I bet he didn't go fishing no more.
Yeah, really.
We've been looking down there.
Mm-hmm.
And see anything, and now it just popped up.
Yeah.
Do you remember the guy that reported, I believe he was a kid at the time, he saw the British soldiers walking up, actually led by a commander, and they were all like ghoulish, and he said to one of them, "I'll shoot you, stop or I'll shoot," and the thing said back to him, "Shoot and you'll be burned like the rest of your traitor scoundrel selves," or something like that. It was actually befitting, and I thought, that'd be a hell of a thing to make up, Just makes you wonder. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to get back and do the other half of this show. We gave everybody a nice little peek into Old House Woods tonight, into some live ghost hunts with results. So we'll do some more shows from back there. We'll do some live broadcasts. The last one didn't work out because of my terrible signal, but when I get a better phone, we can do some live broadcasts from Old House Woods.
All right, we'll call in next Old Cow Hole.
Okay, that sounds good. I'll probably be on till about 2:30.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Talk to y'all later.
Later.
All right. And that is Kim, Michaela, and Sharon, for those of you that didn't know. And I believe Sharon brought her daughter Tabby, so there's probably 4 out there. And they're getting some activity tonight. These are people who I trust what they see because we've been ghost hunting a lot. We've probably spent 1,000 hours, maybe more, back in those woods. We know what's environmental. We know where the animals are. We know what they sound like. I can tell you where a skunk lives. I can tell you that particular skunk is competing with a few cats, feral cats. Yeah, that's how well we know that area. So we know when we're seeing animals, when we're seeing environmental issues. There's occasionally an exception. Like when I saw the fog triangle, there was no fog that night. Nobody was smoking. All of a sudden, I take 4 pictures in a series. Snap, 2 steps, let the flash charge. Snap, 2 more steps down the road, let the flash charge. And I was doing this on purpose I always take a series so I can compare them. Snap, 3rd one, huge fog triangle. Take a couple steps and let the flash recharge. Snap, 4th one, nothing. So numbers 1, 2, and 4, nothing. Number 3, a perfectly shaped triangle of fog that looked like it was tubular. Imagine a pool rack, that shape, but tubular, circular, around and big. Probably each of the three sides would have been about 12 feet long. That's what I saw, and it made no sense. It is the strangest photograph I've ever had. If you want to see that photograph, all you got to do is go on Facebook.com and search for Old House Woods and ask to join the page. And you'll have to scroll back quite a ways to find it, but it's in there. Or maybe you can just go click on photos and find it much faster. I'm not an expert with all that stuff yet. I run a lot of pages, and I've started a lot of pages. I've probably started 30 pages. Maybe 2 or 3 of them are worth anything. And that one is, kind of near and dear to us. That's our main hobby out here. It's what we like to do. Some people go fishing, some go hunting. We go hunting. We go ghost hunting. That's all. It's exciting, the thought that we might see something paranormal. Most nights, we don't get anything. Half the nights, we get phenomena, but we don't know what it is. Sparks here, noises there that don't sound natural. And then occasionally, you see a full-on apparition, and you're in business. And you just have to ask yourself, what is it? And this would be a good time for a station ID, I think, so we'll do that.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kiersten.
Lest you forget whose great show you're listening to. We couldn't let you do that. That wouldn't be fair to anyone. Now, tonight's show is titled currently What People Are Thinking Under the Surface. But it kind of can go in any direction, as I said, so we stepped over. Here's one. It says, I've got some sound effects here I'm going to mess around with. It says, Ghost Eerie. So let's see what that sounds like. Oh, it must be a WAV file. WAV files won't play. Oh well. Yeah, that's a drip. Slurp. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, a lot of these are WAV files, so they will not play. Let's listen. This one will always get you going. No, that was a WAV file too. There we go. Yeah. They love me. They love me. I'm famous. That's all there is to it. Now some of these files I'll have to get out of here or convert them to MP3s. I knew that, but I didn't realize I was putting waves in when I set it up tonight. So, whatever happens, happens. That's the way it works. Werewolf? No, Werewolf's not playing. Testing. Yeah, we're still good there. Baby Laugh will play. Drip will. Yeah. That's life. I don't even know what this stuff is. Oh yeah, the heartbeat. That's a good one, isn't it? Yeah. Hockey we were talking about earlier. Yeah, right there. Yeah, that's the sound I made tonight after we lost in the shootout. My Washington Capitals fell to the Boston Bruins by a score of 3-2. I was not happy with this. But, they were, and they made that noise. But I said, yeah. We'll do some more of that. We'll play with sound effects. I'll get it where it's like tuned properly, like it'll fit the conversation. But that's going to take some time and some rehearsal, and I've usually got a lot of stuff going on, so that's going to just have to come when it comes. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean. Oops. That must have been a Russian wedding. Yeah, oh well. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to load a song or two up from Bad Ace because I need to take a little break here. My spine, when I sit in any one position for too long, screams to the top of its lungs and says, Kevin, you got to move in a different direction, and you got to stretch, and you got to bend it, and you're just an old man that's getting old fast. So let me go ahead and load up. We did Falling Faces. I think I did that one too. I got to get some more Bad Ace songs from you guys if you're listening. Got a friend in the band that's a drummer, but I need more songs. Which one haven't I played in a while? Let's try Without You. We'll load that on my first deck. And then after that, let's go with Don't Leave Me Alone. So we're getting a little romantic here if I'm doing a theme tonight. And we will play these and fade these one into the other. Let's give it a shot.
When I was young and foolish, I thought the world belonged to me. Fast cars and easy women were all that I could see. Drinking booze and smoking till I couldn't get no higher. Every night just looking for someone to light my fire. When I got a little older, and my daddy told me, son, if you keep on doing what you're doing, you're gonna wind up on the run. When you got to settle down, boy, gotta learn how to behave, or you're gonna drive your mama straight to another grave. And babe, I'll never leave you. You know my love is true. You see, I can't make it, baby, without you. Oh, no, without you. Girl, I couldn't last a day now without you. Without you. Oh, no, without you. Girl, I couldn't last a day now without you. Well, I met other women, but I didn't feel the same. Some wanted me forever, some didn't even know my name. Some chewed me up and spit my heart in pieces on the floor. But you took me around the world and kept me coming back for more. And babe, I'll never leave you. You know my love is true. You see, I can't make it, baby, without you. Oh, no, without you. Girl, I couldn't last a day now without you. Without you, without you, babe. Girl, I couldn't last a moment without you. We got together, you made my spirit soar. Never reach you passing down, baby, but I love you so much more. You fill my days with sunshine when the clouds are pouring rain. Girl, you got me so excited, just got to dance insane. And babe, I'll never leave you. You know my love is true. You see, I can't make it, baby, without you. Oh, no, without you. Girl, I couldn't last a day now without you. Without you, without you. Girl, I couldn't last a day now without you. No, no. Yeah, I'm crawling on the floor. Yeah, I'm knocking out the door. But I can't stop no more. Not without you, without you.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kirsten.
On many faces. Oh, baby, don't you ever look down. All I know is that I want you around. So don't leave me alone. just 16. Then you became my high school dream. I didn't tell anyone my feelings for you. I kept them balled up inside. I didn't realize, no, you felt it too. My friend told me you were interested, and my heart dropped to the floor, because you didn't know just how I felt. I kept it hidden so well. You didn't realize, no, I felt it too. I didn't know that I could feel this way, even on such a rainy day. I didn't know a feeling of this kind feels so good inside. Feeling this way. I went to see you, but you weren't at home. But you called later on, sitting lonely by the telephone. We talked a little while, and I made you laugh. And then on the next day, I walked you to class. We didn't realize, no, we felt this way. My high school dream had finally come true. We were together as one. Only to find it would be short-lived, no, because of some things that I had done. We didn't realize she knew so well. We didn't realize that she would tell. We didn't realize, no, it wasn't meant to be. I didn't know that I could feel this way, and even on such a sunny day. I didn't know a feeling of this kind feels so bad inside. Feeling this way. Ran across your picture, baby, just the other day. Imagine conversation, and you knew just what to say. I held you in my arms and never let you go. And I realized I love you evermore. I didn't realize, I didn't realize I felt so strong for you. I didn't know that I could feel this way, even on such a cloudy day. I didn't know a feeling of this kind feels so good inside. feeling this way.
There you have it, folks. That last one there was Bad Ace Reality Check. Excellent band out of southeastern Virginia. Plays in the Middle Peninsula area, Northern Neck, and also Yorktown, Newport News area, Middlesex, Matthews, Gloucester. Look them up. You can also find them on Facebook. Bad Ace, just like it sounds, is the name. 2 separate words. They play various venues around here, and I'm not going to speak for them, but I'm sure they would probably do special requests. If the price is right. Business is business. So contact them and ask them if you like the way they sound. I do. Let's go ahead. I've only got about 15 minutes left on. I've got 3 hours of show per day, but I'm only going to do. Well, actually, I've already used up one, so technically I do only have 15 minutes left. I'm going to talk a little bit about what people are really feeling under the surface, because I don't think that gets very much coverage at all. There's one I wanted to talk about. This comes from markandangel.com. Now, I think this is that couple that writes self-help type books. And sometimes things are a little too cute for me. Does that make sense? So I don't really give them a lot of credit, but this is Happy Mark and Happy Angel, and it's called Mark and Angel Hack Life. 10 irrational thoughts rational people often think. I'm going to give them a shot, okay? And he doesn't give definitions here, he just makes the point, so I may dig a little deeper into some of them. Here are 10 irrational thoughts that rational people often fall victim to at one point or another. Number 1, mistakes are never acceptable. If I make one, it means that I am incompetent. Well, I think most of us have that beaten, right? Unless you're a total type A. Let me beat it for you then. You're going to make mistakes. Go ahead and try not to make one. I'll wait. See, you failed. You're going to make mistakes. That's what people do. Who decides what a mistake is? Is that not a man-made rule? Well, you're supposed to do Project A this way, and you failed. Guess what? Who made that person any more important than you? Screw that rule. Maybe you did it perfectly. Man made the rules. Man will break the rules. So screw perfect. You may be just doing perfect right now. I say if you're happy and you're not harming anyone, you are perfect. 2, when somebody disagrees with me, it is a personal attack against me. Sometimes it is. Most of the time it's not. Most of the time it's about a topic. There are those people who will always argue with you. They don't like you. You can gather that. Either that or they like getting under your skin. It gives them arousals. 3 is to be content in life, I must be liked by all people. That's never going to happen. That's just never going to happen. 4, my true value as an individual depends on what others think of me. I care. Do you? I care about what others think of me. In general, I mean, at least the majority of them. But I'm very limited on what I would change based on their thoughts. Very limited. And that changes as I get older. I get even more limited, because I'm becoming me. At 41 years old, I'm pretty much me. When it comes to personality shaping, and you can look into the old psychological explanations of this, but it comes from B.F. Skinner or more of the cognitive end of things. I tend to be a fan of evolutionary psychology, but they don't even talk about this, which is the personality going through a funnel type shape. You've got wide variations when you're young, and it goes for everything. It's taste in food, taste in music, taste in clothing, and you go through this funnel effect where your preferences and your personality become narrower and narrower, right down to who you are. And I try to always keep an open mind about stuff like that, but you ultimately have to become somebody, and that somebody is that narrow focus that you become. And I've sort of become who I am. And I kind of I have a flavor now. I kind of see myself finally in a unique light, not just an everyman. In fact, next month I'm buying a Australian Outback hat. Yeah, I'm gonna wear it too. I ain't joking. I'm gonna wear it when I do broadcasts. I may get a giant pair of sunglasses and wear those too, because I don't care. The Outback hat represents a certain wild part of me. One acting wild, but they've got this pin in their heart that when you pull it out, it turns the heart into a grenade. In other words, they may do something crazy in the right situation. That's what I like about a hat like that. That's kind of what it says to me. Plus, I asked on Facebook, I did a little self-poll of my friends. I said, ladies, what do you think about guys who wear hats like this? And I showed a picture of the typical Outback hat, the Australian ones. Not a cowboy hat. Don't like cowboy hats. And they said, oh, sexy, sexy, sexy guys who wear those are sexy and interesting and mysterious. And I said, well, shit, what do I have to lose here? My girlfriend doesn't like hats. So I asked her, well, can you overlook that for me to get a hat? And she said, well, I guess. She's thinking about being okay with it, but she may not be okay with it. So that's life. I am going to go for it. I'm going to try to wear the hat. I like the hat. I'm 41. I want the hat. I've got a cane now, so that goes perfect with it. Just got issued a cane from my doctor this week for my old crippled self. And Australian Outback hat says, hey, I got a little wild streak in me. I'm a little more mature now. I'm not going on safaris. I'm certainly not going out and wrestling crocodiles, but I got the balls to do that. Yeah. And now I just have a little interruption here from Don Imus. It is only 1:54 in the morning, but sometimes I can get started early, that is, and have a McMuffin or something, stumble into work. Half the time I got my cowboy hat down, and which looks nothing like Kevin's Outback hat will look, but I can sleep under it. I can pull it down and just take a little nap there, Who's getting hurt there, Come on out to the ranch, you get time. We'll slap a cow on the ass, see if we can go 20 miles an hour. Yeah, there's Don Imus making his appearance. My impressions don't do well later at night. I'm working on some. It's not a priority yet. I need some more listeners. I need to hear that you want to hear more. And then I will work on presentation, or I might do it vice versa. Maybe that's what I need to do to get more listeners. So I'll work on it anyway for a while. But ultimately, if I run this show for a year, like I told a good friend, and it doesn't seem to have a lot of listeners, I'm going to give it a hard look about not doing it anymore. But if I've got even a moderate amount of listeners, I'll go on forever. I love the idea of doing an internet radio show. I just love it. It's just awesome. So, well, on that note, I'm going to do a station ID.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kirsten.
And we are going to call that a broadcast, my friends. You've been listening to Truth on Tap with your host, Kevin Kirsten. It is almost 2 o'clock a.m. on a Wednesday morning, September 18th, 2013, on the East Coast. I hope you enjoy your hump day. Humpity hump day. Guess what day it is? Enjoy that. And we will be back, who knows, at least on Friday when I have a battle with a short Arab midget comedian. Yeah. You don't see that on Howard Stern now, do you? Yeah. That's it. We're signing off. Peace out.